Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. We love to dig into really fascinating topics, and today we're going to be exploring the world of AI agents,
Oh,
specifically how to build one yourself. And
yeah.
and it this sounds complicated, but honestly, I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
this is something that's going to become really, really important in the future.
Oh, absolute.
So we're using a tool called n8 Key. Have you
Oh,
heard of this before?
I have not.
Okay, cool. So we're basing this deep dive on a Medium article
Right?
by a researcher named Mohammed Akram,
Okay.
and we're going to touch on some of his other work as well.
Cool.
So he kind of blends AI with science fiction, which I think is a really interesting combination.
Yeah. So if our listeners are kind of interested in how is AI actually becoming accessible
Yeah.
and are there practical applications, this is the right place to be.
That's a great way to put it. I think I think a lot of times people hear AI and they think it's this big scary thing that's, only accessible to, you know, super geniuses.
Or, evil corporations.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, right.
But this deep dive I think is really interesting because it goes beyond the hype
Yeah,
and gets into the nuts and bolts of how these AI agents work.
absolutely.
So maybe we should start with the basics. Like when we say AI agent, what do we actually mean?
Sure. So I think it's really easy to get kind of lost in all the jargon and buzzwords.
Yeah.
But an AI agent, at its core, it's basically a system that can make its own decisions and then take actions based on those decisions
Okay.
to achieve a specific goal. And the key here is that it does it all on its own without human intervention.
So like a robot, basically.
Kind of like a robot, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a physical thing. Think about those chatbots you encounter online,
Oh, yeah.
or virtual assistants that schedule your meetings, or even those customer support systems that are automated.
Hmm.
Those are all AI agents working behind the scenes.
Okay, so they're already in our lives. We just maybe don't realize it.
We take them for granted a lot of times.
Yeah, that makes sense. But how do we go from these like everyday examples to actually building one? I mean, is that even possible?
It is, and that's where n8n comes in.
Okay.
So n8n is this really cool tool for automating workflows, and it's surprisingly approachable, even if you're not, a coding whiz.
Yeah.
It's all visual. You just connect these different nodes to create a sequence of actions.
So kind of like building with digital Legos.
Exactly. Digital Legos for AI.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So you're connecting these nodes together. Could you give us a really simple example of what that might look like in practice?
Sure. So let's imagine you want to create an agent to help you manage all those emails.
Ooh, I could use that.
Right. So you would have one node that fetches all your new emails, another that analyzes them for keywords or topics,
Yeah.
and then you have this special AI agent node,
Hmm?
which is kind of like the brains of the whole operation.
Okay.
It takes that analysis from the previous nodes and decides what to do with each email. Maybe it sends an automatic reply, maybe it forwards it to a specific folder, maybe it even creates a task in your to-do list,
Wow.
all based on what it learned from the content.
Okay, so each node has a specific job,
Yeah,
and you chain them together to create like a more complex set of instructions.
exactly. It's like giving your agent a step-by-step recipe to follow.
I like that.
Now, Akram's article does a really good job of breaking down the initial setup process. You sign up for n8n, you create your first workflow, and then you add this AI agent node, which is where things start to get really cool.
Okay, now speaking of cool, I am curious about this AI agent node. Like,
Yeah?
how does it actually work? Does it have some kind of built-in intelligence?
Well, not intelligence in the way we typically think about it. The AI agent node needs to be connected to something called a chat model,
Okay.
like the ones from OpenAI,
Hmm.
and that's what lets it understand natural language, like the way we speak and write,
Okay.
and generate responses that make sense.
So it's like teaching your agent how to have a conversation.
Exactly. It's like giving it the language skills it needs to communicate.
So the chat model gives it the language skills.
Yeah.
But what about like remembering information from past conversations? Is that part of the equation?
You're hitting on a really important point. You're absolutely right. Memory is a crucial piece of the puzzle. For AI agents to have truly meaningful interactions, they need to be able to retain information and then recall it later,
Mm-hmm.
just like we rely on past experiences to inform our current conversations.
Okay, so it's like giving them a brain.
In a way, yes. It's about giving them the ability to learn and adapt based on their experiences.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, the idea of an AI remembering everything I say is a little, unsettling.
I see where you're coming from. There are definitely privacy implications with all this information being stored.
Yeah.
That's a whole other conversation we could have.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. So we've talked about the chat aspect,
Right.
but can these AI agents do more than just chat? Can they interact with other tools and systems?
Absolutely. That's one of the really cool things about n8n. It lets you integrate your own tools and workflows into your AI agent.
So it can do things like, I don't know, check my email or update my calendar.
You got it. You could connect it to your email, your calendar, even something like your project management system.
Okay.
In fact, Outram gives a great example in his article. He talks about creating a supporting workflow that generates a list of items based on certain criteria.
Okay.
So imagine that list contains, tasks from your project management system, emails that meet certain criteria,
Mm.
and your AI agent can then use that information to prioritize your day,
Oh,
draft responses, or even delegate tasks.
so it's like having a personal assistant that knows exactly what needs to be done before you even ask.
Exactly. It's all about streamlining your workflow and freeing up your time for more strategic thinking.
Okay, now this is blowing my mind a little bit.
It is pretty amazing. And the cool thing is, n8n offers all these different flavors of AI agents.
Oh, did you say flavors?
I did.
So it's like an AI agent variety pack. Tell me more. What kind of flavors are we talking about?
Oh, there are quite a few, each with their own strengths. We've got the tools agent, which is all about connecting to external applications.
Now, wait a second. You can't just drop external applications on me and expect me to understand.
You're right. I got a little ahead of myself. So when we talk about external applications, we're talking about things like your email, your calendar, your project management system, basically anything you use on your computer.
Okay.
And the way this tools agent connects to those applications is through something called APIs.
APIs. Okay, now you're really losing me.
Haha, sorry. Think of an API as a digital messenger that allows different applications to talk to each other.
So like a translator for apps.
Exactly. And this tools agent uses those APIs to get things done.
Got it. So what other flavors are in this AI agent variety pack?
Well, there's the conversational agent, which is all about, you guessed it, conversation. It's focused on natural language understanding and dialogue, like those chatbots or virtual assistants we talked about earlier.
Okay, those two seem pretty straightforward. What else is on the menu?
Then you've got the OpenAI functions agent.
Hmm.
This one is really interesting because it taps into OpenAI's function models, which are designed to perform more specialized tasks.
So instead of just having general knowledge, it can do more specific things.
Exactly. It's like giving your agent access to a library of pre-built skills, from generating different creative text formats to translating languages.
Wow, that's cool.
Right. And if you need a bit more planning and structure, there's the plan and execute agent.
Okay,
This one's great for breaking down complex tasks into smaller steps,
right.
executing them in order, and even adjusting its approach as needed.
So it's like a project manager, but for AI.
You got it.
I like it. What else?
Okay, ready for this one? The React agent.
React. Like react to something.
Kind of. It's designed to reason through tasks, figure out the necessary steps, and then execute them in an iterative manner.
Wait, so it's like it can learn and adapt as it goes.
Exactly. It can break down a complex task, figure out what needs to be done, try different approaches, and adjust its course of action based on the outcome.
Okay, that's getting pretty sophisticated.
It is. But we're not done yet. There's one more flavor I want to tell you about. The SQL agent.
SQL agent. Okay, now you're really talking over my head.
Haha. I know it sounds intimidating, but it's actually quite useful, especially if you work with databases.
Okay, databases aren't really my thing.
Well, imagine you want to find all customer orders from a specific date range.
Okay.
Instead of having to write complex SQL code, you could simply ask the SQL agent in plain English, and it would handle the database interaction for you.
So for someone like me who's not a database expert, it's like having a translator.
Exactly. It's like having a translator that helps you get the information you need without needing to learn a whole new language.
That's incredibly useful.
It is. And this
Uh-huh.
variety of agents just goes to show you how powerful and adaptable this technology is becoming.
And speaking of adaptability, that brings us back to Mohammed Akram.
Oh, yes, the author of the article we've been talking about.
He's not just an AI and cybersecurity researcher, he's also a science fiction writer.
Which is so cool. It's fascinating how he bridges those two worlds.
Yeah.
The technical and the creative.
Or what if he uses n8n to help him write his stories?
That would be amazing. I could totally see him using AI agents to generate plot ideas or create unique characters.
Right. But in all seriousness, it's really interesting how he uses his writing to explore the bigger picture of AI.
Absolutely. He's not just focused on the technical how-to, but also the why and the what if.
Like, what does it mean for society?
Exactly. He grapples with the ethical and philosophical questions that arise as AI becomes more integrated into our lives.
Which is something we should all be thinking about, right? I mean, it's cool to talk about building AI agents and all the amazing things they can do,
Yeah,
but it's also important to consider the potential downsides.
absolutely. It's a powerful technology, and with great power comes great responsibility.
Okay, so before we go too deep into the philosophical rabbit hole,
Right.
let's bring it back to our deep dive for a second.
Okay.
So far, we've talked about the technical aspects of building AI agents with n8n,
Uh-huh.
and we've touched on some of the broader societal implications.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, absolutely. The field of AI is constantly evolving, and the possibilities are endless.
So what does this all mean for our listeners? Like, how can they take this knowledge and apply it to their own lives?
That's a great question, and honestly, I think the answer is different for everyone. What's exciting is that the tools and resources are becoming more accessible,
Yeah.
allowing anyone with an interest in AI to explore and experiment.
Like the barrier to entry is getting lower,
Exactly.
which opens up a whole new world of opportunities.
It does. Whether you're a business professional looking to automate tasks, a creative person seeking new ways to express yourself, or just someone who's curious about the future of technology, there's a
Yeah.
place for you in the world of AI.
That's a really empowering message. I love that.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be involved in this field.
But I imagine some listeners might be feeling a bit overwhelmed right now.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, we've covered a lot of ground,
Yeah.
from technical details to like philosophical questions.
Mhm.
What advice would you give to someone who's just starting to explore this field?
That's a great question. My advice would be to start small and focus on what interests you the most. Don't try to learn everything at once.
Oh.
There are tons of great resources available online,
Mhm.
tutorials, courses, and communities where you can connect with other AI enthusiasts.
Yeah,
Just find something that sparks your curiosity and dive in.
that's great advice.
Yeah.
It's easy to get intimidated by the complexity of AI, but starting small and focusing on your interests is a great way to make it feel less overwhelming.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And remember, AI is ultimately a tool.
Yeah.
And like any tool, it's up to us to use it responsibly and ethically.
Okay, so before we wrap things up,
Yeah.
let's do a quick recap for our listeners.
Uh,
We started by demystifying AI agents,
Right.
exploring what they are and how they're already present in our lives.
Exactly. We talked about chatbots, virtual assistants, all those things we interact with on a daily basis.
Then we dove into the world of n8n,
Yeah.
which is a really powerful tool that allows you to build your own AI agents.
Even without knowing how to code.
We explored the step-by-step process outlined in Muhammad Akram's Medium article,
Yeah.
breaking down those key concepts like nodes,
Workflows.
workflows,
Chat models.
and the crucial role of chat models in giving these agents their language capabilities.
Right. We talked about how those chat models give the agents the ability to understand and respond to us in a natural way.
And who could forget those AI agent flavors?
Oh, yes. The tools agent, conversational agent, OpenAI functions agent, plan and execute agent, React agent, and the SQL agent.
So many options.
It's like a buffet of AI agents.
I love it. But we didn't just focus on the technical side of things, did we?
No, we didn't. We also took a detour into Akram's science fiction writing, highlighting how he uses storytelling to explore the broader societal and ethical implications of AI.
Which I think is so important.
Me too. It's not enough to just understand the how of AI.
Right.
We also need to grapple with the why and the what if.
Well said. So we've explored the technical how-to and the broader what-if questions surrounding AI.
It's been a multifaceted deep dive.
It really has. And now, before we let you go, we want to leave you with a final thought to ponder.
Ooh, I like this.
Imagine you could build an AI agent to tackle any task or challenge in your life.
Okay, I'm listening.
What would that be?
That's a good one.
What problem would you solve? What aspect of your day would you transform with the help of an AI?
I'm going to have to think about that one.
We encourage you to dive deeper into the world of AI agents.
Yes.
Explore the tools and resources available. Maybe even experiment with building one yourself.
You might be surprised by what you discover.
It's been a pleasure having you on the show today.
The pleasure was all mine.
And to our amazing listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey. Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and keep exploring.
Bye, everyone.
See you next time. Okay, this is where I need you to break it down for me. What are these different AI agent flavors? And And how do they differ in what they can do?
All right, so you've got your tools agent, which is all about connecting to external applications using APIs.
Okay, hold on a second. You can't just drop APIs on me and expect me to understand. Can you explain that for those of us who aren't programmers?
You're absolutely right. I apologize. So API stands for Application Programming Interface. It's basically like a digital messenger that allows different applications to talk to each other.
Okay, so like a translator for apps.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So this tools agent uses APIs to connect to things like your email, calendar, or project management system to get things done.
Got it. So what other flavors are there?
Well, there's a conversational agent, which focuses on, natural language understanding and dialogue.
Okay, so like chatbots and virtual assistants.
Exactly. Things that can hold a conversation and understand what you're trying to say.
Okay, those two seem pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
What else is on the menu?
Then you have the OpenAI Functions agent. This one is cool because it taps into OpenAI's function models, which are designed to perform more specialized tasks.
So instead of just having general knowledge, it can do more specific things.
You got it. It's like giving your agent access to a library of pre-built skills, from generating different creative text formats to translating languages and more.
So it's like giving it a superpower.
Exactly. And for those who need a little bit more planning and structure, there's the Plan and Execute agent. This one's great for breaking down complex tasks into smaller steps, executing them in order, and even adjusting its approach along the way if it needs to.
So it's like a project manager,
Yeah.
but for AI.
You got it. It's like having a super organized AI assistant who always stays on top of things.
I like it. What else?
Okay, are you ready for this one? It's called the React agent.
React. Like react to something.
Sort of. It's designed to reason through tasks, figure out the necessary steps, and then execute them in an iterative way.
Wait, so it's like you can learn and adapt as it goes.
Precisely. It can break down a complex task, figure out what needs to be done, try different approaches, and adjust its course of action based on the outcome.
Okay, that's getting pretty advanced.
It is. But we're not done yet. There's one more flavor I want to tell you about. The SQL agent.
SQL agent. I'm not gonna lie, you're kind of losing me with this one.
Uh-huh. I know it sounds a bit intimidating. SQL stands for Structured Query Language, and it's used to interact with databases.
Okay, databases aren't really my thing.
Well, imagine you want to find all customer orders from a specific date range, for example. Instead of having to write complex SQL code, you could simply ask the SQL agent in plain English,
Ah.
and it would handle the database interaction for you.
So it's like having a translator that can understand my regular language and turn it into database commands.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. It's like having a specialized AI assistant that can help you get the information you need from a database, even if you don't know how to code.
That's pretty incredible. So with all these different flavors of AI agents, it sounds like there's really no limit to what you can do with them.
That's the exciting part. The possibilities are vast. And as AI technology continues to evolve, we can expect even more innovative and specialized agents to emerge.
And speaking of innovative, that brings us back to Mohammed Akram, the author of the Medium article we've been discussing.
Ah, yes. The AI and cybersecurity researcher who also happens to be a science fiction writer.
It's fascinating how he combines those two worlds, isn't it? The technical and the creative.
Absolutely. It speaks to his multifaceted interests and his ability to see connections between seemingly disparate fields.
I wonder if he uses n8n to help him write his stories.
That's an interesting thought. It wouldn't surprise me if he's experimented with AI tools to enhance his writing process, maybe using AI agents to brainstorm plot ideas or develop character backstories.
Yeah, who knows? But in all seriousness, I think it's really insightful how he uses his writing to explore the broader implications of AI beyond just the technical aspects.
Absolutely. He's not just focused on the how-to of building AI agents, but also the why and the what-if questions that surround this rapidly evolving technology.
Like, what does it mean for society? What are the ethical considerations?
Exactly. He grapples with those big questions in his science fiction, using storytelling as a way to spark conversations and encourage critical thinking about the role of AI in our lives.
Which I think is so important. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of new technology, but we also need to be mindful of the potential consequences.
Absolutely. Technology is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. It's up to us to guide its development and ensure that it's used in a way that benefits humanity as a whole.
Well said. So to bring it back to our deep dive, we've talked about the technical aspects of building AI agents with n8n, we've explored the different flavors of AI agents, and we've even touched on some of the broader societal and ethical implications through the lens of Akram science fiction writing.
It's been a pretty comprehensive exploration, wouldn't you say?
It really has.
Okay.
And I think it's safe to say that we've only just scratched the surface. The field of AI is constantly evolving, and the possibilities are truly endless.
That's what makes it so exciting. There's so much potential for innovation and discovery, and it's happening at an incredible pace.
So what does this all mean for our listeners?
Mm.
How can they take this knowledge and apply it to their own lives or work?
That's a great question, and I think the answer is different for everyone. What's exciting is that the tools and resources for learning about and experimenting with AI are becoming more accessible than ever before.
So it's not just for computer scientists and engineers anymore.
Exactly. Whether you're a business professional looking to automate tasks, a creative individual seeking new ways to express yourself, or just someone who's curious about the future of technology, there's a place for you in the world of AI.
That's a really empowering message. I love that.
Yeah.
But I imagine some listeners might be feeling a bit overwhelmed right now.
Mm.
We've covered a lot of ground, from technical details to philosophical questions. What advice would you give to someone who's just starting to explore this field?
My advice would be to start small and focus on what interests you the most. Don't try to learn everything at once. There are tons of great resources available online, tutorials, courses, and communities where you can connect with other AI enthusiasts. Just find something that sparks your curiosity and dive in.
I think that's really good advice.
Yeah.
It's easy to get overwhelmed with all the information out there.
Yeah, for sure.
But like you said, just pick something that interests you and start there.
Exactly. AI should be fun, not intimidating.
Okay, so before we wrap things up,
Mm-hmm.
let's do a quick recap for our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
We started by talking about AI agents
Right. What they are, how they work.
and how they're already all around us.
Like those chatbots we were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then we got into n8n,
That cool tool for building your own AI agents.
without having to be a coding expert.
Just amazing. It really opens up the world of AI to everyone.
Right. We walked through that step-by-step guide from Muhammad Akram's article.
Yeah, breaking it down into those key concept
Nodes
workflow.
and chat models, which are so important for giving AI agents their language skills.
Absolutely. Without those chat models, they wouldn't be able to understand us or talk to us.
And of course, who could forget all those different AI agent flavors?
Oh, yeah. The tools agent, the conversational agent, the OpenAI functions agent.
The plan and execute agent, the React agent, the SQL agent.
So many options. It's like an
Yeah.
AI agent ice cream shop.
Huh. I love that. But we didn't just talk about the technical stuff, did we?
No, we didn't. We also touched on the bigger picture of AI, like what it means for society,
And we did that through the lens of Akram's science fiction writing.
which I think is a really interesting way to explore those big questions.
Yeah, me too. So we covered a lot of ground today.
We did. From the nitty-gritty details of building AI agents to the broader implications of this technology.
It's been a real deep dive.
It has.
Now, before we say goodbye,
Okay.
we want to leave you with something to think about.
I'm intrigued.
Imagine you could build an AI agent to do anything you wanted.
Anything. Okay, now you've got my attention.
What would it be? What problem would you solve? What aspect of your life would you transform?
Wow, that's a big question. I'm gonna have to give that some serious thought.
Well, we encourage you to explore the world of AI agents, check out the resources that are out there,
Yeah, there's so much to learn and discover.
maybe even try building one yourself.
It's easier than you might think.
It's been fantastic having you on the show today.
The pleasure was all mine. I had so much fun talking about this.
And to our amazing listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of AI agents. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.
Bye, everyone.
See you next time.